Ebbers, let me talk through a common normals scenario. It's the end of a long week. One of you turns to the other and says,
"Don't forget, we've got Simon, Garfunkel, George and Michael coming round for food tomorrow."
Panic. You've got little time to plan, little time to cook, but in your heart of hearts, you really want to serve something that makes you look absolutely amazing. Over to you.
No problem. This happens quite frequently, which is why I've gone and fetched a bunch of really easily available products you can get from basically a local small supermarket, adding to stuff you might have in your dry store, and the kind of ingredients, potatoes, blue cheese, lettuce, chilies that you can pick up fresh. And we'll try and shoehorn as much of those in as possible. 3 courses that you can throw together in about an hour of prep before they arrive, but then it's really loosey-goosey when they do.
Perfect, because we all know when Nellie and Kelly arrive, they just want to chat and I want to be with them.
Okay.
So we're going to do 3 courses. One is a kind of smeared dairy deliciousness that's seasonal. Then we move on to steak and potatoes, and we'll finish with something chocolatey. But I'm going to prepare it in the order of things that basically take the longest to cook first. So a bag of new potatoes, toss it in oil, salt and pepper, and I'm going to whack it into an air fryer for about half an hour's head start. They might need a bit longer, but we can always check back.
Just to clarify, do we think Bartholomew is going to react positively when we say, for starter, smeared dairy seasonal?
I'm keeping it vague because I think people will, because they will use whatever they can get hold of, but the concept is one that you can repeat time and time again with different friends.
You've got a marketing degree, so your task is to name the starter in a way that sounds impressive.
Smeary dairy.
What a waste of 3 years of university.
Seasonal smeary dairy. Or a seasonal smear.
No!
Yeah, we'll just call it a seasonal smear.
No, we won't.
Because then we're also doing healthcare as well.
While our potatoes air fry away, you can also just throw them into an oven and toss them regularly. They might take an extra 5 minutes or so. I'm going to break some dark chocolate. You can buy any dark chocolate you want. I would say for this, don't go for the very best quality. I'll explain why in a minute. But you do want something that's dark and bitter and about 70% or even a little bit higher.
This is why having a chef teach us these things is so important, because his mind works like a Gantt chart.
Yeah.
He started with the potatoes for the main course, but
they'll take longest.
But is instantly moving on to the chocolate for the dessert. Whereas if I got 3 recipes from the internet, I'm trying to work out how best to put them together.
Yeah.
And this isn't going to be a race, right? Because the chances are you have got more than an hour's notice of people coming round, but you should be able to do it in about an hour.
So what is the dessert?
The dessert is something that I have genuinely had and served at home for friends before, and I love it because you might never get to it, in which case that's not a problem.
Are we talking about friends coming around for dinner or dates?
And not everyone wants dessert. Sometimes people are too full. Sometimes the evening's got away with you and you've been chatting, it's getting quite late. So you don't feel obliged to do it. It's something so simple you make, and it's a really delicious treat when you whip it out. But it's not like, you're not precious over it because you haven't spent too long on it. It is a really tasty, delicious Rice Krispie cake.
Okay, right, cool.
There is an absolutely incredible sweet treat that Selfridges sell that I was very tempted to buy for a pretentious ingredients once. And it is an Italian dessert that's basically a chocolate rice cake made with toasted hazelnuts, rich dark chocolate and cocoa butter, and then adorned with floral flavours. That's what we're doing. Except I'm using dark chocolate and Nutella.
He's making it normal.
He's making
it normal.
You've really listened to the brief, Ebbers.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed. Jay and I were talking and we thought we'd score your menu at the end based on doability.
Yep.
Can we do that? Can we recreate it?
Sure.
Is it achievable? Is it what we're looking for? But also on a wow factor. So how will Bartholomew, Gabriella, Simon and Garfunkel react to our menu?
Dark chocolate, and then basically if you melt that and then set it again, it's going to be too solid. Because we want this to be a cross between like a Rocky Road, a tiffin and a Rice Krispie cake. You want something you can cut and slice. So basically, adding in this, which equates to the similar kind of like the butter that you would put into a Rocky Road, stops it from setting up too solid later on. You'll see the weights and measurements I'm doing. It's kind of guesswork. A couple of heaped tablespoons of that and 4 bars of the chocolate.
You're using Nutella, which is obviously going to add a hazelnutty element to it. Would normal chocolate spread work?
Yeah, because Garfunkel's got a nut allergy.
Yes. I think you want something other than just chocolate. So if that's the case, use a flavoured chocolate, or use butter and maple syrup, or use something else that's basically going to give you a similar consistency that at room temperature isn't going to be rock solid. Once that has melted down, I'm going to stir through Rice Krispies. We're going to set it in literally a plate that's just that deep, an inch thick, lined with cling film, and then we're going to top it with some floral stuff that we've got in the dry store. I appreciate not everyone has access to
Rosebud? Yeah.
edible rose petals or urban foraged lavender.
Right,
But
we've gone from normal
Okay,
to...
right. We've gone full Ebbers again.
I want to stress, this was lavender that I picked between the Sainsbury's local and the studio. Other supermarkets are available.
What you mean is between here and a 5-minute walk away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there an alternative, like a herb, like a mint or something that would work with sweet flavours that you could also garnish with colour and a little bit of flavour?
What I like is the floral nature of this because it's quite unusual and it gets people talking. However, sub it out for chopped nuts, sub it out for dried red currants or dried blueberries, anything that's sweet that you like. This is basically fancy Rice Krispie cakes, and it's not that fancy, but people don't expect it. You serve it, and everybody loves it. It has that nostalgia, but you're just doing it in not a paper case.
It's nostalgia but elevated,
Yes.
which is actually perfect.
Yeah, but also it's having options, isn't it? So it's like, if you can't just find a random lavender bush, use something else. If you can't get hold of
You just
rose
spray
petals,
it with Febreze.
yeah, exactly. Just put some potpourri in it.
So it's mostly chocolate, a little bit of something else, sweet and fat, that's not going to be a solid at room temperature, and then plenty of Rice Krispies.
He's even laughing at himself as he's doing this.
Because I can't remember the last time that I made something and called it Rice Krispie cake, and yet that's what it is. I was going to put it in a cake tin. I thought actually people might not have cake tins at home, so literally any bowl will do the job. Whatever you've got, because you're not serving it like this. You're going to later on turn it out, hence the cling film, and serve it however you like. Chopped, chunked, wedged as a slice with some nice sour cream or creme fraiche.
Okay,
Or
okay.
just chunks with some coffee or liqueur, your choice. So then a scattering of basically colour, things that make it more attractive. Importantly, some salt.
Now it's grown up.
Flaky salt as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, again, so you can
Finishing
see
salt.
it as you cut it. And the lavender, really strong flavour, but it's just the little pieces you need for a little fleck of colour. And if you get one of those little pieces as you eat, it's enough. It's quite strong.
Now, our plan throughout this is to ask Ben as many questions and give you and us as many options as possible. What Ben has offered is that he'll be in the comments of this video answering any of your questions that you've got about your specific situation. So get your questions in the comments. Ebbers will answer them when the video launches.
That would typically go into a fridge and it can be in there for a whole day. Do it in your lunch break ready for the evening, do it the day ahead, or literally do it an hour before they arrive because you're not going to eat it till the end, so it can just stay in the fridge. I put it in the freezer just to speed things up because we're literally going to do it in an hour and then serve them all together, but you wouldn't typically be serving dessert as soon as they arrive anyway.
So dessert is done.
Yeah, and he's the worst host in the world because look at this.
You're not even here yet, this is before you've arrived. But what I would say is enjoy the process. It shouldn't be a slog, it shouldn't be a chore, and if your friends do arrive early, I like to have a plan. So I like to have one thing that I can offer, but always have something up your sleeve in case they don't want what you've got.
Well, actually, we've listened to William on our podcast
Yes.
last year, who told us never arrive early to a dinner party.
So rude.
Cheers, this is a Portuguese Alvarinho, so very zippy, citrusy, kind of green fruit, think coastal deliciousness. It's going to be perfect with our first course, but people can always sip on it until that comes.
I like wine.
You've changed.
I know. Now I like wine and I like some cheeses. And I also get excited when I walk past a Le Creuset shop. And that's all down to him.
These are essentially going to be crouton-y bits to go into our first course salad. You can buy any kind of flatbread, muffin, toast, sourdough, ciabatta, but
Crumpet croutons are a cracking idea.
if you're going to have a bread that's going to soak up loads of flavour, you might as well have one with loads of holes in it, right?
Yeah.
So, good olive oil, salt and pepper, nothing else, because there's going to be so much flavour on this dish. You want the croutons relatively plain, but nicely seasoned.
So what is this dish?
This is going to be our smeared dairy fat, which I'm actually going to call whipped ricotta, pan-fried stone fruit, walnuts, hot honey, and toasty crumpets.
Okay, right. It's not
It's a seasonal schmear.
It's not.
I also don't know if you noticed this, That's the same bowl that he put the potatoes in with the olive oil, salt and pepper.
I hate washing up. I have a very small kitchen and I have the sink right where I kind of need it, but I don't want it full of washing up. So multi-use of same ingredients, absolutely. But let's move on to steak. So a really hot pan. Get the pan searingly hot, and these are just 2 supermarket steaks. 2 that are going to go a long way on a board with lots of other bits and pieces. Season, searingly hot pan, lots of colour, into the air fryer at 54 degrees, and they'll just stay there until you're ready for main course. So there's no pressure. If people arrive a bit late, if people are still smearing their dairy or whatever, there's no rush. There's not like the steaks are ready, we must go. It stays there until the guests are ready.
I love the idea of that. Is it quite a specific thing to have an air fryer that goes to 54 degrees and holds it there?
Yes.
Right.
The other way of doing this is exactly the same. Sear off the steak, but cook it to your desired consistency, let it rest, and serve it at room temperature. It's more like a steak salad that we're doing, as opposed to like the perfect searing steak with hot sauce and hot sides. A lot of people say don't pepper your steak. I do. It'll burn in the pan, it might, but I quite like that. Lots of salt. This is Aberdeen Angus rump, but you're going to use whatever you can get hold of. Really hot pan, really cold steak. So it's literally straight out the fridge.
No.
It shouldn't, right?
No.
If you're doing it the way you want to cook it through and sensibly and not overcook the outside before the inside, but because it's going to be sat in there, gently coming up to temperature, you don't want to go close to overcooking the middle before you cook the outside.
He's breaking the rules, but with the full knowledge that he can break them successfully.
Yeah, and it'd be useful.
Yeah.
Ebbers, you're thinking like a normal.
You set a brief, I'm just trying to make it easy. The other thing is, if you're rushing, you've just got back, the supermarket you've just bought the steak from has been keeping it chilled. You haven't got an hour to let it come up to room temperature before you cook it. This is the brief you set, right?
This is practical. My wow factor is currently at a 7.
Yeah, I can see.
So a fair sear, not going to do the whole butter and baste and aromats because I haven't got time for that. Like, got so many other courses to come, guests could arrive at any moment, but you have got a decent sear and pretty much a raw middle. So they can go in and hot hold.
So that's 2 decent-sized steaks. How many people are you thinking that will feed? 4. Cool.
4, especially with 3 courses in mind.
Yeah.
Spread across, sharing. This is one big platter we're serving, so you're not putting a steak on each plate. People are picking and choosing, and generally people are very polite, and they're already very grateful for your generosity. Pickled onions. So I'm going to grab water and do a pretty simple 3-2-1 pickle. 3 parts vinegar.
You're up.
2 parts water, 1 part sugar. 1 glug, 2 glug, 3 glugs-ish. 2 of those. This is a 3-2-1 red onion pickle plus some seeds, fennel seeds and mustard seeds. Now typically you'd kind of toast these off, but actually we're just going to boil them up in that liquid. And as it boils, we're then going to pour it over our sliced onion. Put it to one side, worry about that later.
And so if I don't have an air fryer,
Yep.
there's still enough oven space to cook potatoes.
The second shelf of your oven
Yeah.
with the potatoes and the crumpets, and the steak doesn't need the oven at all. Finish it in the pan, let it rest, and then serve it at room temperature. And you'll see when we plate it up later why that's absolutely not a problem. So the same bowl that's already got the oil and the salt and the pepper in it, and literally as soon as that is boiling, and it nearly is, it's going to be poured over and left to one side. There's not a huge amount of seasoning in that, so I'm going to add a little pinch of salt.
Coming up to the half-an-hour mark, Ebbers.
Already?
Yeah, you've done loads.
So now the hot pickle liquid is bubbling. It gets poured over our onions. Just in the residual heat, that's going to cook down. Just make sure they're all submerged, and our pickle is good for later. And I've also taken the crumpets out. Next up, steak sauce, except we're not going to put it on the steak. We're doing chimichurri. Really herby, really fresh, blitz up, takes no time, but we're going to toss it around the potatoes on the same board as the steak. So it's like chimichurri roast potatoes.
Lovely.
With steak. Parsley, coriander, 1 small supermarket bag of each, a couple of spring onions, 1 clove of garlic, a little bit of red chilli. Make it as hot as you like, but I'm actually going to keep most of the seeds out in this instance, but I'm going to rough and ready it so that a few seeds get included. Olive oil and red wine vinegar. Salt. That's it.
Now, Ricky and Martin
Yeah.
are going through one of their vegetarian phases, aren't they?
Yeah.
Rather than the steak, do you think there's a good veggie option for a similar style of menu?
Yes, and I think actually what I'm about to say sometimes sounds a bit cliche, but a big field mushroom. But with these flavours, chimichurri field mushrooms with eggs on toast for breakfast, sensational. It's also going to work as a
Big
main
old
course
girthy
here.
mushroom.
Yeah. Chili, garlic, spring onions, that's literally root and all, don't care. This is how I cook at home, believe it or not. It's just a bit more free, it's a bit more by eye rather than weighing too much out, and the results will always be good enough.
I actually think in a dinner party or having friends with dinner or family type scenario, as a host, you always put so much pressure on yourself to make the best thing that you possibly can. Whereas actually, the food isn't ever the sole focus. It's the conversation, it's the being with other people, and the food is a part of that. It sounds weird as a food channel to say that, but it's not.
It brings everyone together for a purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, this doesn't look like chimichurri traditionally.
No, I literally had a conversation with Santi while we were collabing with them about
I overheard this as well.
chimichurri and how actually it should be done by hand, it should be chunky, it should be a sharp knife and or a pestle and mortar. I think for weekend cooking at home with friends when you're juggling 3 courses an hour, I think this gives you the pack of flavour, and instead you have something smooth, arguably more chefy, but definitely less traditional.
And you could hand chop the parsley and the coriander.
Especially if you haven't got a blender.
Yes.
The red wine vinegar in that is superb.
It's going to go so well with roast buttery potatoes.
I'm going to put some seeds in here just for some crunch. Super trendy right now in all the small plate restaurants, some sort of smear on a plate. Now that could be beans, like a hummus or a butter bean paste or puree, or it could be whipped feta, it could be whipped ricotta, and then you put a seasonal topping on top. That's all we're doing. So using ricotta, heavily seasoned, and then whipped so that it is nice and smooth. Now, you could also add into this some orange zest, you could add in some lemon zest, you could add in a little bit of acidity in the form of a little splash of vinegar and stuff, but don't forget we're going to be serving with lots of else on the plate, so I just want it to be deliciously creamy, smooth, and seasoned, salt and pepper.
I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to your local shop, you'll absolutely be able to get some sort of seasonal fruit. You might not get the variety, so it might be a peach, it might be a nectarine, in this instance, stone fruit. You might get some apricots. We've got some plums and some green gages, probably pushing the boat out. We live in London. However, one or other is ample. You'll always find something nice and seasonal. It could be figs at the right time of year, you might find. Just something that you'd think would work lovely with cheese on a board.
Ebbers, in my blind panic before Sonny and Cher turn up, I can't remember what fruit is in season, but I do know that most local shops, rightly or wrongly, have some fruits year round. What, in that instance, do you think would be the best thing to go for?
So strawberries are going to work, also good at this time of year. They work beautifully in savoury as well as they do sweet. Otherwise, grapes. Grapes have a nice acidity to them. You'll get those all year round, and you can halve them and still, just in a really hot pan, fry them off. Or use tinned fruit. Like tinned peaches, absolutely fine.
And we're still on starter, right?
Well, I'm kind of jumping about. We've done the cheese for the starter, we've done the chimichurri for the main, the pickled onions for the main, our steak is hot holding, our potatoes will give a little toss. Gorgeous, 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 so simple, but that's all you need. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Pan's really hot, which is great, because we're about to add in lots of cold. And you don't want these to cook down and go mushy, you want them to colour pretty quick.
Okay, big plate.
The same pan we used for the pickle, I'm just going to add a bunch of honey and some rose harissa.
Can I use harissa paste?
Use harissa paste, you could use chili flakes and a splash of water. Basically, you're making a hot honey. Again, nothing new here. Classic combinations you've all seen and heard of and spoken about before, but it just works so well. You're not serving these hot, so again, something you can get done way ahead. We're going to serve it on a big plate. We've got our cheese mix, we've got our stone fruit, we've got our sunflower seeds, we've got the hot honey. It's pretty much all good to plate up. Move it to one side so it's where you want it to be later on when people arrive. Now, people start arriving. Always have distraction techniques. There we go.
Smart move, Ebbers.
Always keep your guests happy, and it can literally be cheap and cheerful. Bag of crisps keeps people happy.
Buy a little tub of guacamole.
Especially when, you know, John or Elton turn up a bit early, they've misjudged, or you're waiting on somebody else who's got held behind at work, you don't want to serve the first course yet. Something just for people to pick at. Olives, nuts, crisps, job done. Last thing for me to do is the other side dish. So some little gem, I'm literally just going to cut them into quarters, keep the root intact.
He's going to grill them. This is one of my go-tos.
He's not this time.
Oh, okay.
Because we've got roasted potatoes and hot steak, it's going to be a salad, but I am going to do something fun with them.
Well, even that presentation is nice.
It's different from just
showy.
I kind of do, yeah.
Do you have a go-to menu for entertaining?
I think I have two different routes. I have I'm making an effort route, and I haven't left it to the last minute.
Yep.
And I have gone and got a massive pork shoulder, and I have spent 18 hours smoking it. I also have the one pot. I'm going to make a chili con carne. I'm going to make some rice, and then there's going to be pittas and guacs and things like dips and all of that kind of stuff. So still make it all yourselves. The effort has gone into one pot.
It's so deliciously on brand. Pulled pork and chili con carne.
Well,
yeah, and it works.
Mine is also pulled pork, but I am sick and tired of smoking it for so long in the barbecue and still getting to a point where people need to eat it and it's not quite right. So I've started doing it in a pressure cooker, and it's a game changer. You get consistent results, it tastes great, liquid smoke makes it taste smoky, as if it has been done on the barbecue.
No, we're not talking the same language anymore.
We are.
We're not.
Trust me.
Sour cream, blue cheese, grana padano, salt and pepper. Little splash of vinegar. Lettuce going in, be super gentle with it so it doesn't all just fall apart, and toss the whole thing. And then we're pretty much ready.
Ebbers, you're coming up to 55 minutes.
In 55 minutes, I'm looking around and I think I'm done. There is lots of stuff that now needs putting away and sorting and putting back together. That's something that you have a few minutes to do before people arrive. But essentially, everything is ready to now plate up 3 courses in your own time. Don't rush. Just going to go to my herb garden. I forgot, I was going to pick them earlier. So the first course is our dairy smear.
You called it something better earlier.
Whipped ricotta with pan-fried stone fruit, sunflower seeds and hot honey. Some of our texture. Crumpet chunks in the middle. Colourful extra garnishes, so just little leaves and little bits that come from the garden.
What are those leaves specifically?
Beetroot leaves and or very, very young Swiss chard. And then the hot honey.
Wow.
That is the first dish. You can whack it down in front of people, let them enjoy it with a glass of wine, and you don't have to rush off to the kitchen to do the main course because it will take seconds to make when you want it.
Oh, yes.
It's brilliant. That is bang on brief, Ebbers.
Whipped ricotta and hot honey is such a lovely mix.
It tastes amazing. There's no flavours there that people might not like.
No.
You know, it's just great. The crumpet croutons are a game changer.
Yeah.
Because it's something you've probably already got in the freezer.
Yeah.
So the steak has been hot holding at 54 degrees, so it will stay at that perfect temperature, up a few degrees if you want it slightly more well done. Pretty much 54, 55 is where I like it for this. Potatoes, nice and crispy. All I'm going to do is, in the air fryer, just toss all of the chimichurri around with the potatoes. And then whack them on a board.
Oh, yes.
These are all beautifully dressed.
Now, Shania and Wayne don't like blue cheese. I'm going to remember that as I taste this sauce.
In which case, when you're at the supermarket, knowing your friend's preferences, pick up a little thing of Boursin or pick up feta cheese, which is salty and sheepy. Like, you don't have to do blue cheese. I think it's lovely with this, but it's entirely up to you. So the crunch to this dish comes from this incredible seasoning that is then going to be scattered over our salad.
MS Jizzle.
Somebody has done the seasoning for you, and you absolutely love it. So why not use it? Cheesy ones and salty, or you can go flaming hot if you want a bit of extra spice, entirely up to you. Equally, we always have on hand in the studio crispy onions. A really nice addition, but they'll stick a little bit to that dressing and work wonderfully. Our quick pickled onions, just let some of those drain while we look at our steak. And because it's been hot holding, it is the same temperature all the way through. Cut it into thin strips and scatter it over your potatoes. Leave nothing behind, because these rump have that lovely bit of fat on there.
I think Shania and Wayne would be very impressed with this. They're not impressed by much, but I think this would.
Beautiful steak, a scattering of our pickled onions. It's a sharing feast. It's giving big night in vibes, but it's taken 55 minutes to throw the whole thing together, and then you can serve it. Boys, over to you.
Oh, yes.
I mean, this is a mound of meat in the middle, hiding the potatoes.
Wow.
But tuck in, and just before you do, something a little special. This was gifted to us by a member of the community. Tiffany, she has been watching the channel for years. She lives in Australia. Her parents have a vineyard, 919, and she sent this. So it's a rather special 2019 Durif, Petit Syrah, but it's going to be absolutely perfect with steak.
Thank you, Ebbers.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you for the invite.
I mean, look at that. I've got one piece of onion, a potato, steak. So on its own, the chimichurri-ish sauce was delicious, but very acidic. As soon as it's put on a roasted potato, it just almost takes on the fatty butteriness and tastes so smooth and exciting.
I just watched you make it, and I know you make cooking look simple just in the way that you do it. However, this did feel very calm and very simple and achievable.
And hacked. That's what I liked about it.
Doritos. It tastes phenomenal.
Equally fried onions and grated Grana Padano cheese.
Sorry, should have gone for Bousam. Sorry.
Too much blue cheese on that for you.
Not for me, but I see where you're going with it.
And then if there is room for dessert, then serve it as dessert. Otherwise, I cut it into really small squares and just serve it with coffee or liqueur. Sometimes it doesn't even make it out of the fridge because people are very happy, they're full, they don't want anything, that's fine. There's no pressure because you know how easy it was.
And also, there's a fine line between having a few drinks and having a nice time and some nice food to eating so much that you're done.
Yeah, you can't move.
Yeah.
And sometimes people be like, I'm really sorry, I've had such an amazing evening, but I've got to go and get the last train. And you don't want them to feel like they're making it awkward, the fact they're running away or that they're missing out. Send them with a little doggy bag, because I promise you, it's so simple, but I'm yet to know anybody who doesn't enjoy it.
That's the thing. It's so accessible. Well, it was before,
and now we're
purple. Okay.
They were in the same flower bed I picked the lavender, and I know that daisy is edible. So that's it. It's literally as simple as that, almost embarrassingly so. One to share, but obviously there's plenty to go round.
I mean, that is not what I would associate as a Rice Krispie cake.
What? That is not what I was expecting. Is this a pistachio
liqueur?
Ebbers, are you trying to get me drunk?
Another delicious gift from a community member, and they thought we'd really like it.
Are we going to have to mark this whole video as #gifted?
No, I don't think it's the same if it's an actual present rather than just a expected present.
I'm going in for this. It's the creme fraiche that...
Make sure you get a little bit of lavender on top.
It's a Rice Krispie cake with adult flavours, like dark chocolate, the lavender, creme fraiche, which isn't sweetened.
A little bit of salt.
Yeah.
And you do get that hazelnut, but it's not like sickly sweet Nutella. And I think this is wonderful with coffee after dinner.
Leveled up.
Or an ice cold liqueur. It would be lovely with a bit of strawberry gin liqueur. Or I think a pistachio one was a bit special.
Wow.
That with a coffee or that in a coffee.
I'm just going to have a little bit more of this.
Good. That's the way we like it. Nothing fancy.
No.
Just enough nostalgia and just enough interest that people will ask questions or be impressed at the flavours you've added.
It's been embellished with enough fancy to make it fancy without deterring from the fact it's something that we all loved growing up eating and want to eat. It's perfect in terms of that balance. We need to confer for some final scoring. We've made a decision.
Good.
Your doability rating, your menu's doability rating,
Thanks for the clarification.
we've given a 7.5
Out of
10.
Excellent. Right, just check.
For normals.
for normals. So we were trying to think about the audience, and perhaps all 3 courses might be a little bit daunting depending on your cooking level. However, individually, I mean, I think they're absolutely 9 out of 10s in doability, so people can pick and choose. Is that fair?
I think that's very fair. And to add to that, 3 courses is a lot if you're hosting. Maybe that whipped ricotta stone thing is actually a delicious side with steak and potatoes and green veg. You're done. Put it all out as one course.
That's plenty, exactly.
Or the other thing that we conferred about was, do you ask your guests to bring dessert with them?
They won't bring Rice Krispie cakes.
They won't be as good as that.
And from a wow ability perspective, 9.5. If you can do all 3 of those dishes, I think you will leave your guests wowed.
And we also thought individually as dishes, they probably all come out at a 9.5. They sound great, they look great, they taste. 9.5 out of 10. It's genuinely amazing, and thank you for solving a genuine problem.
Thank you for being my guest guinea pig.
Which one's the guinea pig? Or are we combined?
Am I the guinea and you're the...
I think we're a guinea pig in a blanket.
Right, well, that was our emergency dinner party, but we would love to know what other real-life scenarios would you like help from a chef with?
And if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more of them, and want to celebrate Ebbers here, please give the video a like.
I'm going to give him a clap.
And thank you to our booze contributions today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tiffany and Anne.